And yes, we are live. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have Olufunke Ashade, and she is going to be sharing on my intentional parenting this morning. My intentional parents is a platform for inner circle parents who are on a journey and they've made the decision to share on this journey to show the world that the Intentional Parent Academy is a workable system. My name is Wendy Ologi, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy, called Africa's #1 parent coach. And we have Olufunke Ashade in the building. Olufunke, where are you streaming live from, please?
Good morning, coach. Thank you so much for the privilege to do this. I'm streaming from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much, ma.
Awesome. I can see everybody shouting La Funky on their microphone. Ha! You have a lot of fans, so come on now. So let's go there. I can see that the comment section is buzzing. One of the things that you want to do for us as you get buzzed on this comment section is to send in this link to a family or a friend. Funke is live all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. And by the way, we're still basking in the independence, for our euphoria, whatever. Those days
Yeah.
when independent in Nigeria, everywhere is bubbling, everything is happening. It was so quiet yesterday that I remembered my childhood. And I was like,
Mm.
what's happening? Sad, but hey, we're here. Our country, we love it, and we do not have a choice. Lagos Yada in the building. I can see that, yes, we have a Lagos Yada in the house. Thank you so much again for joining me, and thank you for being here. So let us get on it immediately. Madam Funke Ashade is going to be sharing what it is that happened to her on this journey. But let's start with, how did you join the inner circle? How did you get to know about the Intentional Parents Academy? Is this your first time? How long have you been here? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you once again, coach. Yeah, so this is my second year of being in the inner circle, and I got to know about the inner circle on Instagram. I got to know about the inner circle on Instagram. And that was the first year. That was 2021. Yes, 2021. And I saw this post about sex educate your child like a pro, and I was like, okay, what are we going to learn and all of those things. So I joined that session, and I think I took another course as well, which is um the emotion no, from yelling to being calm. Yes, from yelling to being calm. And then that was how I walked my journey in. Okay, that was 2021. Then in 2024 I joined the inner circle. Yes, 2023, 2024 I joined the inner circle. You're muted, coach.
Sorry about that. So, what made you join? What is that thing that made you come to the point where you told yourself, no, I need to actually join this academy? Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. So what stood out for me was because I came to the point of realization that I lacked emotional control. And when I joined the No Yelling Challenge, it was indeed a transformative session. And when you register for any of TIP courses, there is more than what they actually charge you for. There is value more than what you are paying for.
Hmm.
So as at the time I joined for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, the No Yelling Challenge, I began to realize. And another thing that stood out for me is that the live session. So I would always join the Tuesday live session, and I would be like, who is this woman? She has a lot of debts, and it became this burden in my heart that I think I'm not going to delay anymore. I've delayed myself 2022 at this point. So that was how I kicked in December 2023, yeah, and all the way 2024. Yes, that was it, ma.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. You're watching Funke Ashade. When you got into the inner circle, what's the first striking thing for you? What was the first thing that you saw?
Okay. Once again, thank you, Ma. Okay, I think I should start this way. When I joined in 2023, 2024, I was pregnant that year with my second son. I was pregnant, and like we say in the yard, my lot was a lot. I had a lot of struggles. When I joined, I was like, I can't even finish all the tools that we have been sent. I can't finish the webinars. I was giving excuses. In one word, I was giving excuses. But then my wake up call started in September 2024. You sent a particular voice note that year, and it was so striking. You said, there are some people in the yard, they don't even know the book we are reading. They don't even know what we are currently doing in the yard. They don't even understand what is going on. But you'll be all right. Indeed, I was actually all right. And that was the wake up call for me. I knew that I was missing something out. I knew that something needed to be done because it was also that same month the my intentional parenting journey was in tuned as well. So I was joining in, listening to people's testimonies, and I'm like, but this thing is working. Oh, this thing is working. Then you are the one missing something here. And I started self-reflecting. And I mean it when I say self-reflecting, it was a point of self-awareness. I sat
Hmm.
down with myself and I started thinking that there is something that needs to be done. And then I started highlighting it. I told myself that I lack structure,
Hmm.
I lack emotional regulation. And I started listing out all of these things, precept after precept. And that was the game changer for me. Thank you so much, Ma.
So Funke was a backyarder. Simply put, no, scratch that.
Yes, ma'am.
Funke was
Yes,
a
ma'am.
backyarder. You know, there are backyarders and there are ghost yarders. Ah, it's Dr. Happiness is second that taught me this one. It's not me. But last, she's all right. Is she not all right, guys? She's all
I'm
right.
all right.
Very all right. And she's here now. Last, you'll be fine. That's why when you're not out, hey, where am I going to go? I'm overwhelmed. And all of that. I say, don't worry, give it time. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just give it a while. Right? And this is Funke. I saw people shouting in the comment section saying, Funke the bookworm. Funke, how did you get there? From the backyard, from the ghost to the front. That's a very
Yes.
interesting one. And today you are sharing my intentional parenting journey. How did the one made
Mm.
all of the difference? Over to you, man.
Hmm. Yes, thank you so much, Ma. I think before I continue, when I was prepping myself, I told myself that I would start by appreciating you. I want to say thank you, Ma, for becoming. Thank you for showing us that indeed consistency can be developed. It's a muscle that can be built over time. Thank
Mm.
you for yielding to purpose because that was the starting point for me. Yes, but I will get there, right? So to answer the question that you asked, so what changed? What changed was what changed was that I number one, there is this accountability. Okay, let me start from here. Before I paid for 2024 session, I made up my mind that that motivation that I got from from that voice note, it died up, and I told myself that okay, I think I know the structure of the inner circle. I'm not even going to pay for the next year again. I think I'm done. And I had this my dearest sister, Madam Okwelola Ogidiolu. So on that fateful day, she just called me and we got talking, and she was like, she would encourage me to join again and all of those things. And okay, I was like, okay. I made up my mind and I register again for the inner circle. But I kid you not, that was my answered prayer. knew that I prayed to God that I needed a change, something. But most of the time when we pray to God that we need a desire change, we don't even know. We don't know where that thing is, and God knows how to channel our journey rightly. He already knew that joining again, there is a story that is about to be bettered from that place. And indeed, I can testify that my transformation journey started from the year 2024 into 2025. And joining the account, you would always say something, coach. You said you can't we don't do life in isolation. And that was one of the things that I did intentionally. We had this accountability group. Shout out to the last cohort from last year, which is the cohort 1L 2023. That cohort was an amazing one. And all of us from that group, I think few of us, about 10 or thereabouts, we joined this accountability group. And Madam Mokwe would always encourage us and all of those things. She'll keep sending books to the group that, oh, she has read this book, she has done that. And I'm okay, where am I missing it? I need to do something. I don't want to give excuses again. And in another webinar, you mentioned something. You said excuses are cheap. Those who make them are not wise. And then I told myself, I'm going to be wise. I choose to be wise. So
Mm.
whatever it will take me to bet my transformation, then I'm ready to pay the price. So sometimes, even as a nursing mom, I stay up late at night to read.
Mm.
And that was the starting point for me. Yes, I stay up to read 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning. And then, before I now started getting the rhythm of my life on how to properly schedule my day. But that was the starting point. The shift started from making a decision that, okay, I do not want to make any excuse anymore. I need to start showing up. And so when I started reading those books, when I started reading these books, I started getting value to understand that you can be that change. Your story can change. Yes, in a nutshell, your story can change. So, yes, um, that was it for me. And you mentioned a book as well. That's the 5 a.m. club during a particular webinar. Coach, thank you again. By the time I read the book by Robin Sharma, I was able to understand where I was missing it about my daily routines and all of those things. I began to schedule my day. What you don't plan, you don't get to do. That's just it. What you don't plan, you don't get to do. So I began to, properly schedule my day based on my energy. So I don't do anything anyhow in the morning. There was a particular webinar you taught last year, and you said some of us wake up in the morning and we are cooking jollof rice. Cooking jollof rice, you are wasting all that energy. They are meant to be creative, and all of those side talks. It might be as though that you see all of those things, but it gets there is this transformation. Those little words does to me. I go back and then I go self-reflect to say, okay, I think this is where you need to think about it. Think about it. Yes.
Mm.
So I began to look at my day. So from 5 a.m., I would wake up. And the next thing, I exercise. After my exercise, I pray. After I pray, I study the word. And that's another thing. You mentioned something in that webinar. I think that's the last webinar we did last year. Gratitude as a skill. We are coming there. That's my first transformation webinar in the yard.
Mm.
Gratitude is a mindset. Gratitude is a mindset. Oh God, I bettered a lot of results from just that webinar. Just that webinar. I began to appreciate even the little things.
Mm.
It became a culture for me. I would just intentionally wake up in the morning and tell my husband, okay, thank you for this, thank you for that. And you would say something. There is a way kings, there is a way kings does their thing. You don't just do things anyhow. You don't just say thank you. You don't just say thanks. What's that now? You actually attach that particular thing that is being done for you, and that alone started changing my mindset. And then I kept a gratitude journal, and I think I need to mention that part of journaling. It made me realize that consistency truly can be built. So I told myself that I'm going to set a goal of 3 months for this gratitude journal, because
mm,
I read the book Atomic Habits, and I got to realize that a new habit can be formed in 21 days. So I said, okay, let me just do 3 months and let's see what's going to happen from here. And I had my struggles, but each morning, just the way you encourage us in the yard, myself, the best time to start again is now. Extend grace to yourself, pick it up again. By the time I checked myself after 7 months, the
mm,
only time I missed the only time I missed my journaling last was in January.
mm,
Was it January or December? Ever since then, my goodness, coach, every day, because it is a muscle. It just aligns. There's nothing like, okay, I forgot. No, 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 no. It's properly assigned. And something happened. I fell sick 2 months back and all of those things. And then I still realized that I couldn't do without my journal. I
mm.
couldn't do without it because it was already part of me. I can't do without it again. So it's not even easy for me to make those excuses anymore. So that was what I used as a yardstick for my parenting journaling. So I started from the gratitude journal. From the gratitude journal, I picked up my Bible study journal. So, as I am writing my gratitude journal, I proceed to studying my Bible. So I have a journal for, studying the word as well. And, precept upon precept that way, I picked up from encouragement, even from our accountability group. I started also I started with my daily journaling as well, then the weekly journaling, and then the monthly journaling. And now I can say with exactitude, every of my journaling are up to date, ma. I listen to all the voice notes in the yard, even the wisdom notes. In fact, thank you, ma. I think I should stop there.
Awesome. 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 From a ghost yard to a front yard. Come on now. It's only in the yard. Come on, you're listening to Funke, Olufunke, Ashade, and she's sharing on my intentional parenting journey. Excuses are cheap. Those that make them are not wise. It has saved lives. It will continue to save lives. I will continue to save it. Somebody said to me recently, Coach, I think it's the things that you say on the side that actually gets me the most, that matter the
I
most.
agree, ma. Yes, ma.
And when you say those things, it's like it hits differently. I'm like, okay, come on. If this
Yes,
person
ma.
can, then I can. I've journaled
Yes, ma.
now for years. I'm already on my table, and I have 3 journals already this morning. Like I
Mm.
usually say that the best gift you can give me is a journal. I always
Mm.
want a journal. The other day I
Mm.
was talking to a team member and I said to them, I have a session in my office currently where it's just my journal. I want to die and transfer my journals as an
Mm.
inheritance. That is
Mm-hmm,
where my
mm-hmm.
and I usually say that a part of your life you cannot uncover except your journal. Never uncover.
Never.
Because that's the only way to do it. There are some things that you don't get to except you do things a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Funke, I have journaled consistently for the past how many months? And you know the truth. Consistency is not a gift. It's not
Yes.
something you try to do. It is something you build on.
Yes, ma.
Consistency is a muscle you stretch. If you don't stretch you, nothing happens. And no matter how much you stay in the yard and give excuses, you'll be fine. All of us will be moving, you'll be fine, you'll be coming. When you catch up, you catch up. The good thing is, I am that your coach that is ready to, catch you when you catch up. As
Yes,
as
ma.
anytime you are anywhere you actually pick up from, we move. Because I understand that some people are going to be, but whether you're going to be able to do it, no matter what your excuses are, you can. But there was something
Yeah.
Funke said. She said, I chose to be wise.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that um that's one of the things that I say to you this morning. Are you going to choose to be wise? It's a choice. It's
Yeah.
a choice. Foolishness and wisdom is a choice. You choose it and then you actually run on it. You again, you are having Olufunke Ashade. She's joining my intentional parenting journey this morning, sharing her journey. She said her first year, she didn't even know the book that was being read. Don't be on
Yeah.
that you will miss a lot. Trust me. And she said by the second year, somebody just encouraged her. People have results. Just go ahead. I know there are people like that, right? You come into a learning community, and you're, wandering everywhere. Are you sure? Are you sure? Funke said something that I love. I know with exactitude. That's an inner circle lingua. If you are not in the yard, no matter why, you can speak this
Why
language.
now?
Like, why?
Why?
Come on now. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to sit with a group of older women. Most of them were wives of generals in the country. And we were being hosted by the wife of the chief of defense staff. So most of their children were older children. And when I was done, 50% of them said they were going to come to my office this morning. I was scared. Like, I don't understand. Why do people want to come to my office? It was an interesting conversation. But one thing that I left there with was main need for no matter
Mm.
who you are, parenting gives the same result.
Mm.
It doesn't matter your level. And I'm talking about people in the country who is who in the nation. No matter who
Mm.
you are, parenting gives you same result. Seed time and harvest. It doesn't matter which angle you're coming from. Somebody said to me recently, oh, parenting is better if you have money. I laughed. Parenting is just about you being intentional. The choice is yours. Your
Mm.
intentionality is your choice. Thank you again, Funke, for joining in here. Funke, what would be your most interesting quotes in the yard? Top three of them by Coach Wendy.
One, I've mentioned earlier, excuses are cheap. Those who make them are not wise. And the second one, values are caught, not taught.
Mhm.
Values are actually caught, not taught. I would explain why I mentioned that. I began, I'm a toddler mom. My first son is 3 year old, and that for me is a blessing. That for me is a blessing because my children are in their planting season. So from the webinars in the yard, I realized that I needed to just program a lot of things I needed for my children. What I need now is less, not that I'm not going to teach, but more of modeling. And that was the game changer for me. Trust me, that was the game changer for me. I With the morning routine, I just started realizing that my son, my 3 year old son, would wake up by himself 6 a.m.
Hmm.
or max 10 minutes past 6. And it was from there I started realizing that this thing works. And if this works, so many more are going. And my son is more of a kind of a son, a person that's a lot. So he would often see me, maybe sometimes wake up to the time that I'm exercising, or sometimes to the time that I'm studying the word. And he would just tell me, okay, mom, he also wants his own Bible. In fact, I have a good problem right now. My son wants his own journal. And I've been able to start walking him through his own, even as a 3 year old.
Correct.
This thing works, I kid you not. I have other testimonies, but we'll be taking them precept by precept. So values are actually taught. So I've heard some others, complain that they have to set alarm for their children to wake up, all of those things. I don't struggle with that. my son wakes up by himself. And I've been able to even test this at the time that, we went for a family, hangout and all of those things, and we were not home and all. I just wanted to see how he would behave. And I saw that it was still the same thing. Coach will say your bedroom is too small to raise your children. So from that way, I observe, and that's it for me. Yes. So yeah, thank you, ma.
Thank you so much. Sonke said that the favorite quote will be excuses are wise. Those that make them are not
Oh, I
excuses
just
are
realized
true.
that
Those that make
I
them are not wise. Number
right.
two.
Number two, I just realized I not mentioned there was a particular quote that you listed in your book, Coach, the Kingmaker.
Okay.
A wounded soul
Mm,
cannot nurture a thriving life. A
mm,
wounded soul, you can never nurture a thriving life. And then there was this awareness that, that came up in me, because I began to notice some negative pattern that I've started seeing in my son. And what was it? It was emotional deregulation. I came from a background that, my dad, of blessed memory, a very loving man,
mm,
he is kind, is all of those things, but just that one. He had anger issues. When my dad shouts, you could literally hear from other streets. And I'm not even, you know, I would often say to myself that I don't want to be like this. But
mm,
guess what? That was exactly what I became. God, Jesus. I saw my report card after my marriage,
mm,
some communication gap, all of those things, and then I'll see. So the wake up call began when my 18-year-old a particular day snapped out at me. And it was as though that I saw my father's face. And
mm,
the Holy Spirit told me that that's it. I just wanted you to see that so you will know the gap you need to work on. And I was like, okay, okay. And I went back to the emotional intelligence course. I sat down with it till it became a inner voice in me. One of the things I did, it's right here at my back. The video cannot, amplify all of those things. I went out to print out, I think that was in January. We
mm,
did the executive functioning skills. Yeah,
mhm,
that was January. And you told us to have, a family impulse control affirmation words. I had to craft out ads, and every morning, every that 10,000, in fact, 100,000 lions are cheap. I knew my background. Mine is not even 10,000. My own is 100, because I knew that there is nothing I can build without working on my emotions first.
mm,
To discipline, there is a way to do that. To connect, if my emotions is not in check, there will be error. So
mm,
I needed to deal with that emotion. And by the time I read the book From Yelling to Being Calm, I will tell you the life changing chapter for me in that book. It was the last chapter. He said,
mm,
your child is not the reason you yell. You are, and you can deal with it. It was as though that I was seeing coach in front of me. It was in the midnight I read that book, and I was like, and the reason I yell, and I need to deal with it, and I started dealing with it. So when I wake up in the morning, I use all those affirmation words. I stay calm even when I'm frustrated. I
mm,
choose to think, pause before I make any decision. And before I realize it, just like I mentioned earlier, consistency is a muscle. I began to do that every morning, and I kid you not, it became a subconscious mind.
mm,
A subconscious mind. So it just pops up whenever I'm being triggered. Whenever I'm being triggered, it could be anybody, it could be my 3-year-old son. And then, it just snaps in my brain to tell me that just take a deep breath. Okay. You're angry. It's okay to be angry, but there is a better way to handle things. In fact, emotional intelligence taught me the skill of active listening, empathy. So, these things are not by chance. Coach will often emotional control is not a wish. It's not a wish. It is learnt. It is skill that is learnt. I learnt it, and I'm a living proof that you can indeed change the narrative for yourself. I mean, if I can come from a home where my dad yells a lot, it's a journey. It's not yet a destination. It's a journey, but I can see the difference. I can see the significant difference. Yes. Thank you so much, Ma.
Awesome. I can see the significant difference. It's obvious that our guest has so much to actually offer. Amazing, amazing. There's so much that Funke has been able to do for her life and the life of her children in the last 1 year or almost a year. Because I would say that I think her journey started just as she joined, the
Yes.
cohort. The other one, she was at the backyard. She has come to the front. So if you're back here, there, you will be all right. And when you're all right,
Yes, so
you'll be
yes.
fine. And when you are fine, you will come and share on my intentional parenting journey. We're waiting for you. Okay, let's dive right into it. I want you to share, how has the inner circle changed your life in tangible terms? Your spiritual life, your marital life. You've shared a few about your parenting. You talked about executive functioning skills. Funny enough, today's webinar is on creating executive functioning skills, the other part of it
Yes.
for the
Yes, Ma. Yes, Ma.
interest, right? And your spiritual life, your finances. I like to ask that
Mm,
because I usually
mm,
say that everything changes in the yard. Over to you, ma'am.
mm. Thank you once again, Coach. So for my spiritual life, thank you for that profound question. So I one of the things that stood out this year about my spiritual life is that I've been able to study my Bible every day, even as a every day. Before, I could just do it anyhow. There is this anyhowness, like
Mm,
we see in the yard, anyhowness. But I have a structured time. I study my Bible now from the hour and 1 hour daily, 1 hour daily, 1 hour daily. If I cannot meet up the 1 hour, I do 30 minutes in the morning, I do 30 minutes in the night. It's been
mm,
a game changer. And something happened in the course of this year for me. As a nursing mom, you can just fast, maybe you break 12 and all of those things. And, I began to evaluate myself before my season of life of nursing and all of those things. I knew that I was a person that, I would often fast and all of those things. But because when I started seeing that there is a way you can live your life and get transformation, I brought that same principle to the spiritual, my spiritual life as well. And I kid you not, I was able to fast for 3 days. There was something the book Kingmaker bettered in me. There was this striking. There were some stories you shared in that book. And I knew that there is something to do. There was something to do. And I told myself that I'm going to wait on God to hear some certain things. And I began to structure what I needed to do. And when it got to the time that, I would win my son, I told myself that I won't just leave it at chance. I won't just leave it to chance. I'm going to transition into a deeper intimacy with God. And through that 3 days, I scheduled the timing, managed my energy. One thing that was the highlight for me was that it didn't affect every other thing I needed to do. And that's what I love. I was still able to read. I was still able to, because, as an homeschooling mom, I was still able to still teach my children and go about other sides of my life. And for 3 days, and the instruction I got from God is what is written on my top this morning. Go in this thy might. You asked me a question at the beginning of the session. You said, what changed? A lot of things changed. I healed. I actually healed. I was a wounded child. And I mentioned that quote from that book. A wounded soul can never nurture a thriving life.
Mm.
So when I started healing, when I healed, it affected my spiritual life. It transformed, rather, it transformed my spiritual life. It transformed even my marriage in terms of the sex part. It transformed because I had an almost rape event. I didn't even know was a trauma. Thank God for the inner circle. The curriculum is deep. The curriculum. Thank you again, coach. It's
Mm.
an honor to be in the inner circle. I mean, precept upon precept. If you actually follow, there is this course coach mentioned. She said rather, that if you follow everything that is being taught in the inner circle, it's about indoctrination. She knows with exactitude the results you will bet. That day I listened to that webinar, and I was never the same again. I told myself, just continue following coach. You don't have any problem anymore. Just continue following her like that, and
Mm.
your results will be palpable. And I'm telling you, ma, I was somebody that had low self-esteem. I can't even do what I'm doing right now before. I could not. I could not stand in I could not stand in public to speak. Yet I had a lot to offer. I would fidget. It would be as if, oh, people will criticize me, all of those things. But when I healed, when I healed, even in the church, people listen to me talk, and then they be like, okay, even my depth of how I studied the Bible began to change.
Mm.
It began to change. It was from my Bible. When I was reading the book Raising the Girl with Sense, the Holy Spirit told me, if you truly want to achieve what the Bible talked about in Proverbs 31, a virtuous woman, that book is what you need. And I kid you not, that book is the in fact, I choose to say this. Coach
Mm.
is the real definition of a virtuous woman, because if you watch her life, the financial part, the spiritual part, precept upon precept, she has been able to show that all of these things is possible. Nothing is missing out. And again, the webinar in the inner circle that talks about a girl with sense, finances, fulfillment, the other one now, finances, fulfillment, faith. Yes, faith. And then the fourth one, feminism and finances. Thank you so much, ma. So, I started looking at my life that nothing will be missing out. Everything has to be dealt with. For faith, as I started seeing transformation, for faith, seeing transformation, my relationship with the Holy Spirit started changing, and he started giving me instructions. I mentioned that the book Kingmaker transformed my life. And then for finance, I had this anyhowness. I also imputed these skills into my finance. I started setting goals. In the inner circle, when it's the end of the month, just like in few days we did, you would have to self-reflect. So I would always self-reflect. What did I do differently this month? And what did I do differently this month boils down to my finances. What did I do differently in my spiritual life? What did I do differently in my parenting? And once I answer all those questions, I begin to reflect. Okay, where
Mm.
did I miss it? Where did I miss it? What can be done better?
Mm.
What can be done better? And every month there is always something to look into. In fact, before it gets to the month, I set weekly goals, and we have that in the inner circle. Even for your parenting journaling, you'll be able to evaluate that particular place, that
Mm.
particular thing you did not do. So you will rate yourself by yourself. You will give yourself the score sheets that you want.
Mm.
So that's my guide. Every week I begin to evaluate. That. What did I miss out? What can be done better? Or what took out my energy that made me feel less productive, and I was just all over the place, just busy, busy, busy. I began to map my life. I began to map my life. I started shaping my life with positive mantras,
mm,
words like words like the world may try to define who I am not. It is my responsibility to declare who I am.
mm,
I use this, I'll say it again. The world may try to define who I am not. It is my responsibility to declare who I am. I
mm,
am God. I am bold. I battled with self esteem. I am empathetic. So even if somebody treats me bad, I choose to, extend grace to you and just know that, okay, let me extend grace to you. It started changing the trajectory for me. And another one, okay, thank you, Holy Spirit. Environments are bigger than my value system. He who knows why is greater than he who knows how. You see
mm,
this one? This one. Oh God. I know my why. I know my
mm.
why, and even my why. I started for this incoming session. I'm already seated in my next cohort, level 2. Uh, so I've already started crafting out my why based even for my children, age appropriate skills I want to see in them. I've been able to even set up to financial goals. How do I want to birth results? All of those things. So, there is no anyhowness. All of these things can be in check. All of these things. And like my father in the Lord would say, precepts upon precepts, you would achieve results. That's Apostle Joshua Selman. Yes. So thank you so much, ma. I'd like to pause here just to know that I'm not missing anything out.
Awesome, awesome. You're listening to Olufunke Ashade. And Funke is sharing on her journey. And she's talking about, she said, I had to begin to say things, words that will shape my life by myself. And the two books that she mentioned Raising the Girl with Sense, and she mentioned The Kingmaker. This was the book that I wrote at my 40th. Somebody came to me recently and said, what do I do? I'm confused about my life. I said, get this book, read it, sit with it, your life will take it on. And if you are listening to me, this is something that you need to do. Sit with it, and then your life will take it on. You can get it on Amazon or anywhere from the distributors and all of the, you can see the link right in the comment section. Now, Funke said something very striking. It's a process of implementation that is actually the most important. There was something she said. She said, I look through every time at the end of each session. I go back and I look through at the end of the month, and then I set goals. What did I not do? Why didn't I do it? How do I do it better? And then I move from there. If there is no review of anything that you're doing in your life, you're going to just do it same way. It's only a foolish person that does something the same way and expects different results, like they say. So if you're going to really do anything differently, believe you me, you would need to begin to think of your result differently as well. What do I do? Funke shared about her spiritual life and how it takes a turn. So I had a session with a yada, an incoming yada, yesterday. And she said to me, I don't know anything. I have come to a realization, and I'm talking about somebody who is a professional. I've come to a realization that I don't know anything. Do you think the inner circle will help me? I do. I know a lot of things. I can't come out to say it. I do this. I don't know how to express myself. As she was talking, and I said to myself, these are all the results in the inner circle. You are bringing the problem of the inner circle before the inner circle. That was what was in my mind. And I said to
Mm,
her, I know with exactitude. That's my word.
mm,
I
mhm,
know with exactitude
mm,
where you end up if you
mhm,
follow that circle curriculum. I know.
mm.
I'm not
Yeah.
guessing.
Mhm,
The curriculum has been built to bring you transformation. It's not guesswork. I'm not thinking. I'm not assuming. I'm not hoping. I know with clear terms. If you follow what is in the yard, you will have results. It is curated for result. The inner circle system is curated for result and transformation. It's not curated for buzz. Somebody said, I hope that this inner circle thing is not hype. Inner circle is not hype. It is the hype.
Yes, it's the
It is
hype.
the hype itself. You get in, your life turns around like never before. That's what happens to you in literal terms. Imagine, Funke was in the yard for a whole year. Nothing happened. Why? Because as much as the transformation is available, if you don't pick up your mat and walk, you will not be healed. And that's why that man by the pool of Bethesda, Jesus said to him, oh, all your excuses. If I carry my mat, they will trample on me. I cannot enter the water. Excuses upon excuses upon excuses. You will think that Jesus will say, I'm here now. I want to carry you and put you in the water so that you'll be healed. Jesus didn't even tell him be healed. He said, pick up your mat and walk. There's a responsibility for you. As the inner circle parents come with expectations, we also have expectations for you. We
Hmm.
expect to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, if we do not do the work, then it's just going to just fly over you. But I say something. There is something community does to you, even when you're not moving. The reason Funke got to where she is because even though she was not moving and doing anything, the transformation in the environment propelled her. Environment is bigger than value system. She had a
Yes,
different
ma'am.
kind of value system when she came in. Oh, the value system of anyone else. But the environment changed all of it. Just immerse yourself in that space, and that's it. Yes, she was at the back, but she was there. There's something that environment just turns around for you. Stay and get rooted. If you uproot yourself from the environment of your transformation, you can't be planted. If you are not planted, you can't bear fruit.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much for joining me this morning. And you're listening to Olufunke Ashade. Today, Olufunke, I want you to share with me. Can you share with me how the inner circle has affected your marriage and your relationship with people around you? Over to you, man.
Thank you once again, coach. So for my marriage, I want to share a story that happened on the 1st of May between I and my husband. I think it was that month that we were doing the love challenge, or if it's not the love challenge, it was the month of discovering the love language, all of those things, the apology language, and all of those things. Yeah. So something happened very early in the morning. My husband was with the children, and my 3-year-old triggered him. And you know, you know how the brain works. You just want to discipline an African man. You just want to discipline the child and all of those things. So he told the boy to go inside his room and close the door. I said to myself, I said to myself that if I interrupt immediately at that point, is we are going to have a clash, a trigger, all of those things. So I allowed him speak to the boy, and he went back to sit down. And because I already knew his love language, I applied it. I subtly went to him, and using his love language, I just said few things. Few things. While I said that, oh, at first, he grudgingly said, okay, tell him to come outside and all of this. So I said, you know another thing I see to this, if I actually go to him, he's going to start looking at mommy like from the perspective of, oh, my mom loves me more. But we don't want to do that.
Mm.
Able to tell this boy that he was wrong. We needed to discipline him, but in the right way, because there is a better way. There is a way, like coach will say, there is a way to discipline. This punishment invokes the punishment invokes the
The emotion,
what's it called now? The
the emotion.
emotional brain. Thank you so much, coach. Punishment invokes the emotional brain, but discipline invokes the thinking brain. Yes, invokes the thinking brain. So after saying that to him, he went back. He went back into the room, called him out. He wasn't too happy. He called, and you know, I was happy he listened to me. He went out. But by the time he came back, happened. This is the highlight. By the time he came back from where he went to, he came back to hug me. And he said something that stood out for me. He said, "Thank you for not, just jumping into it, honoring me." I think that was the choice of his word. You honored me first. You didn't just say, no, everything they are teaching us in the inner circle, all those things. If you're doing that, it's going to, all those things. And he even came, he bought a lot of things, and I felt fulfilled. That's the word, because it showed that something was actually working, and I was happy with myself that I wasn't foolish. Yes, I was wise. I was wise. Yeah. So sorry again, please, coach, can you remind me the question again?
Don't
Yes,
worry.
my marriage. Thank
I'll
you. My marriage.
Yes.
My marriage. Yes. So another thing. So I just decided to share that story. Another thing it has the game changer in my marriage is communication. Communication. I started being intentional the way I speak my words. You in that webinar, you said you use the word I feel. You don't judge. You want to share your opinion. I feel this and this, and then you share your motive.
Mm.
I feel this and this and this. And I started engaging the part of active listening. I would not just jump into the conversation and be like, no, 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 I don't like the way you said it. I wasn't doing all of that anymore. And I started seeing changes after a few months. We took that course in January, and after a few months, even my I think my husband did one thing deliberately during a conversation. Intentionally, he was saying words that would trigger me. Having known that I was somebody that was emotionally deregulated before, he just wanted to know if I would snap out. If I would just snap out. But I don't be like, okay, let's do it this way. Let's think about it this way. I feel I was using all of those strategies that we were being taught. I was using everything, and it got to a point and be like, I thought I would get you. I think I'm seeing these changes truly, and it
He came
has,
to tempt you.
ma.
He came to tempt you.
Honestly, he came to tempt me, but I was happy that I passed the test.
Mm.
It could have been something that would, be something touching for me. Just all of the work I've been trying to build for months. If I had snapped out just because he was, triggering me with words, thinking I would just snap out. So yes, it has helped our communication. And I mentioned something earlier about our sex life. I talked about healing. When I talk about that word healing, I don't joke with it.
Mm.
Healing, there is a lot of, in fact, if you are from any African home, just take it, accept it. Because once
Yes.
you don't accept, you cannot change.
Yes.
You are traumatized. And if God helps you, like Coach will say, and you are from a polygamous home, no doubt, highly traumatized, and you need to. I healed from a lot. I began to, after we took the course healing from childhood trauma, I it was step by step. You taught us in that course. You said healing is a journey, not a destination. So I took one step. The first step was that of my dad. I had to heal. Before, when I described my dad, I was not. I'm not even nice because I issues with him. But today, the Holy Spirit has made me know and see from a place of better perspective how this man is actually a good man. Is actually a good man. Yeah, so I had to heal relationship with him. Now, for my own husband, sex life, I started thinking, what would often just make me not want to release myself whenever we are together. And based on the teaching, all of the teachers, all of our coaches, the classes are always value packed. I would go back, listen again, and check, what am I not feeling? I need to first feel it, because the moment you are still not, when you're not feeling that emotion, you won't be able to track where that issue is coming from. So I had to think it through. There is something I am pushing out. There is something I am not, I'm trying to escape. I don't want to think about it. I don't. So the moment it comes to my experience with a man, and it almost led to a rape experience. And then I started thinking it through. Yes, I also read a book. It didn't start with you. Yes, it didn't start with you. And he helped me to start asking myself some deep reflective questions. And it got to a point that I just saw it. And I went to practice what I learned. It got to a point that I saw it. There was no fear anymore. My brain, there was a part of my brain that has been signaled that anytime my husband wants to touch me, I will just think that, oh, danger. My brain has gotten to a place of survival mode. Yes, that,
Yeah.
oh, this is danger. So don't go there. So I had to start telling my brain that, no, this is my husband. This is my husband. I'm safe here. I'm good here, and I can tell you, oh God, I can tell you for free that we are good. We are so good. Yes. So that alone. And another thing is, I think last year we disagree a lot on finances. When I say disagree, not fighting, not all of those, but we don't just reach an agreement. We don't reach an agreement, but something amazing happened. I realized that the way that I had been presenting some suggestions to him, saw it as though that, I wanted all of those things, and another thing I should mention is honor as a skill. Yes, it came to play here. So honor as a skill, communication skill, merging all of this webinar together, I started betting results. There is a way. There is a way. If you don't know how to sell it, you just don't know, then you should come into the inner circle to know that way, because there is actually a way. I think coach taught us that if your husband is not listening to you, you are not selling it enough. If you market it, they will buy it. They will actually. My husband started botting all of this. So when we look at this thing and we look at it from this perspective, he started seeing that, okay, I think this thing works, because I wasn't imposing it anymore. I wasn't loading it anymore. I was sharing it in a way that we both come into the place of realization.
Yeah.
And that was the game changer for us. In fact, I think once for all the tools in December, yes, because my transformation has started a little bit from that place. We talking about the December stuff, family, PJ Masks. You mentioned before the next session started, that we should sit down with our husband, schedule everything the day everything is being supposed to lay out. In fact, you use yourself as that the way you would, the date you would do this, the photo shoot session, how you would do it has been, has been known, has been yes, has been structured. I think that's the word now. Has been structured, and I followed suit. I went to my husband, we sat down together. That's the first time we will sit together. The first time we will sit together and map out how we want to do some certain things, the
mm.
date, the time, how we want it to go, and we achieved everything, everything, everything. Yeah, so I can go on and on. For my marriage, I can go on and on.
I can see. I can see. Thank you so much, Funke Ashade. Funke said something. She said the marriage bed is shaking. Shout out to you, conclavites. You guys know what that means. The marriage bed is shaking. It's shaking and it's shaking. I will leave it there. But hey, that's what happens to you in the yard. Everywhere,
Yes.
every place, everything transformed. Funke has shared tangible results from how she's been able to handle the things that happened. Yesterday, there was a conversation online, one of the pages, and it says, oh, if your husband is making less money than you are, what will you do? How do you help him? I said, the first thing is to see it as your problem, not his problem. The both of you,
Mhm.
our problem. And many times it is because women were not the upbringing of girls is faulty. The upbringing of boys is also faulty. Now the detection is that we think that girls were raised better than boys in our time. It's not true. And I'm not
Mm.
about, but it's not true. It's not true. You will see it so clearly, you know, flash in your eyes if you are in the yard listening to the sessions. In fact, like Funke said, you see this book, Raising the Girl with Sense. Whether you have a girl, or you are the one with a girl, or you are the one that is a girl, read this book.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
that's all that there is. All right. In less than 1 hour, like our cathedral head have said, there's going to be a webinar, workers meeting. Thursdays are one of the most amazing times in the yard.
Yes.
Yarders, yarders. So we currently have cohort 1A to M filled up. This year is going to be interesting. If you are not early,
Mm.
you will trust me. We're not taking everybody.
Mm.
You're not early, you lose
Mm.
out. I've waited from 2nd December last year till this year. And I mean people who paid full amount of their money. We're not looking for your money. We're looking for your transformation. We want you to
Mhm.
pay money so you can pay attention. But we're more interested because if you transform, the job becomes easier for everybody. The job is easier for every single one of that of us, right? So let's review very quickly so that we can get it again. Coming yarders were asking me. So I didn't read wisdom note. I didn't see voice note on the app today. When I say which voice note, Bow, you guys are not yarders yet, please. If you are yarders waiting, please hear me
Yes.
and hear me well. You are not a yarder yet. You are a yarder on the 1st of December. When you
Yes.
read all the narratives, you read you are indoctrinated into the somebody said it, this inner circle looks like a cult. When we initiate you 1st of December, that's when you become a member. Until then, you have no access to our voice note, please. Stop asking us for
Yeah.
voice. All righty. Thank you so much for joining us, Funke. What will be your top 3 webinars and why would that be? In 2 minutes, let's get that done.
My top three webinars. The first one, gratitude as a skill.
Hmm.
Gratitude is a mindset. What you don't appreciate, you cannot attract. Yes.
Hmm.
So that's one, the first one for me. I bettered a lot of results with it, with that skill, with that webinar. The second one, the emotional intelligence course. Yes.
Hmm.
Because my lot was a lot. My lot was a lot. And then the third one, healing from childhood trauma.
Hmm.
They bettered my transformation journey. I think if you would allow me, honor as a skill. You see that course? One of the first things I did was to change our cooking way, the plateware in the house. The way I serve my husband now, even my husband, once he sees me coming, there is this joy.
Hmm.
God, there is
Uh,
this joy. Yes, because correct, we don't do things anyhow.
yes,
All of
so
his customer service brought home. And
Correct.
it boils down not to the husband alone, even to your children.
Mm-hmm.
Even to my children, I honor my children in my words, not only in food preparation. In my You want a kind child. You want a kind child, then you should model it. If you want a child that honors people, model it. Your
Mm.
child will honor people. Trust me. You want a child that is not impulsive, model it. Your child will be emotionally regulated. Anything you, in fact, if you have a child 0 to 5 years, you are you you're good. Just stay here. Move. Just implement, and your life will show results. Your life will show results. It will be better for you.
Okay, is even laughing. This husband is in trouble. This husband, our wifey ministry is wifey. Come on now. This husband, we have done jazz for his final. Sir, you are finished. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been
Yes,
amazing,
ma'am.
Funke.
Yes.
I can see that you're a bookie like me. So my husband and I do something where we actually read together. We brought out, a book that we're starting today. And we're going to be reading chapter after chapter. It's part of our bonding thing. All right. We read, we have conversation, and all of that. So my husband, jokingly says that I used to think I read a lot until I got married to my wife. And then I
Mm,
saw a reader. In fact, I was
mm,
scared. Who is
mm.
this man?
Wow.
So, yes, Unke, talk to us. What will be your top three books in the yard? I know that you're one of those who read out of the curriculum. In the inner circle when I'm talking, I just mentioned 5 a.m. club on the side.
Yeah.
Somebody called me and said the 5 a.m. club in Nigeria has finished. I said, come on now, that's how we roll. I said, that's how we roll. Yeah, you
That's
come.
how we roll.
That's
Yes,
how we roll.
ma'am.
In
Yes,
December,
ma'am.
somebody was snapping pictures for me and said, I am in area 10. And if you turn everywhere, you see everybody trying to print family value. I say, it's the others. We run
Mm-hmm.
things, man. Just hold
Mm-hmm.
on. We just got
Yes.
this thing. All righty. So over to you, Ma. What would be your top three books in the yard?
Okay. So the first book for me is From Yelling to Being Calm. From Yelling to Being Calm. The last chapter
Mm,
bettered my transformation.
mm,
Your child is not the reason you yell.
yeah.
You are the
Yes.
reason, and
Yes.
you can deal with it. And if I can deal with it, trust me, I know that it can be dealt with because my lot was a lot. My lot was a lot. And then the second book of transformation for me is the discipline that works. The
Mm,
discipline that works. Because for my toddler son, he was a strong willed child. And so, because I had a knowledge gap, you know, a girl from an African home, we have this wrong mindset about discipline. And that book changed my mindset about discipline. Coach, the way you write, thank you, ma. There is a way. If you read any of Coach book, there is no way you will not even receive sense because it's being tailored in a way that you will just get it. Except if you don't read, though. If you read, your life will get results. Yes,
mm.
ma. So the third one, please permit me. I'm going to merge two together.
I saw it coming.
Raising a boy, raising a raising a boy with sense, raising a boy you don't need to bail out, and then raising the girl with sense.
With sense.
Now, I don't have a girl. I don't have a girl child. But the reason I want to validate that book was what the Holy Spirit made me see from that book. You see, you want to exemplify who a Proverbs 31 woman is. Read that book.
Mm,
Don't even talk about, I want to raise a girl child. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. Itemize the things that you feel you are not yet achieving results with, because what you don't accept you will never bet transformation. So
mm,
once you can accept, I have this issue, there will, trust me, there will be transformation. Once
Yeah.
you say, oh, I lack emotional control, you will see your transformation because it comes from a place of self-acceptance. Self-acceptance, you will see it. So yes, that for me, ma. I don't want to take our time. That for me are the three top books.
Four top books: From Yelling to Calm, Discipline That Works, Raising the Boy You Don't Need to Yell Out Than Raising the Girl with Sense. Every single one of the books, it's Holy Spirit inspired, I can assure you. Sometimes I'm reading. So we're currently reading this book in the inner circle, in level one, Raising the Independent Thinking Child. I wrote this book. I was on my way to the US. Stated I was alone on that trip. One of those my lone trips. And then I was stated, my manuscript was ready. And I submitted, I've written this book for 2 years. I submitted it. I was like, we're ready for print and all of that. And I heard that is not the book.
Mm,
That
mm,
is not the book. That's not
mm,
what should be in the book. And I it was so clear. Like somebody beside me spoke to me. And I said, okay. I brought out my system. I looked at it. He said everything. I was given a curriculum for it. I've never written a book like that before in my
mm,
life. I've never written a book in parts. That was the first time I was writing a book in parts. And I was given how it should be. I looked at it. When I looked at it, when my reviewer was reading it, he was like, that the parts look funny. That's not how a book is sectioned. Content does not look like this. Part 5 is short, part 3 is short. I said, that's what I heard. Oga,
mm.
a book like that. I heard it clearly. And the transformation this book has given to parents is unthinkable. Talking about books, our 6-in-1 books are coming up. Details on my screen and in the comment section. Get in and get these books. They will change your life. I know it, like I know my name. Funke, people are listening to you and they are wondering why do I need to join this system? What will lead through for me? Over to you.
Thank you once again, coach. I would I would use this positive mantra that I run by because I know that when you go by this, you would bet results. He who knows why is greater than he who knows how. I said this to say that it is one thing to join the inner circle, it is another thing to flow through the system of inner circle. If you don't know your why, if you don't know your why, you would you will be lost. You'll be lost all through the journey. In fact, if it is motivation that brought you into the yard, after 3 months, that motivation it will die.
Hmm.
It will die because you don't have the discipline that can sustain it. Coach will often say the greatest need of any man is the gift of self mastery,
Yeah.
self leadership. If you don't have it, you cannot even bet results. So if you know your why and then you set a goal, 3 months, you set both short term, long term goal, start with the 3 months and come back to check yourself after 3 months. What did I do? What was I not able to do? What made me not achieve these specific goals? And those said vague goals. Vague goals lead to vague results.
Hmm.
Start from somewhere. That was what I started with. I just told myself I want to start waking up 5 a.m. every morning. No excuse.
Hmm.
No excuse.
Hmm.
5 a.m. every morning, no excuse. And then it was a 3 month thing that I did for myself. In this 5 a.m., I want to journal, gratitude journaling, my Bible reading journaling, and that was the game changer. I built this consistency, and that was it for me. So he who knows why, know your why. If you don't know your why, you will just swing all through the way in the inner circle.
Hmm.
Thank you, ma.
Know your why, and you will be able to be very stable. We're going to begin to run. so that we can get ready to get into the cathedral. Cathedral head is calling us. I love the yard. Trust me. And one of the best things that I love to do is to teach in the inner circle. People say, I've listened to you on Instagram, and this I say you don't know me until you get into the inner circle. You don't nothing about me. Trust me. Alrighty. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to Olufunke Ashade. Olufunke, what will be your last words to parents who are listening to you right now as we begin to round up?
Don't give up on that child. Don't give up on that child. Parent the child that you have. The time cannot afford me to share some of the things that how I walked my journey with my 3-year-old son. He's a strong-willed child. And because I decided math, pick up my math, I didn't give up. And I can say it today, there is a difference between my 3-year-old and 1-year-old son. Why? Because at the time I gave birth to my 1-year-old, I was already a healed woman. I'm still healing. And so the way I discipline him is different. The way I talk to him, connect to him, his sense of attachment is on another level. So
Mm,
when you talk to my 1-year-old, he picks it up. You don't have any struggle.
mm,
Oh, Zion do this is ahead. Oh, Zion do this is ahead. So but then I began to see that a strong-willed child is not stubborn. They are just determined.
mm,
You can shape their determination to purpose. And
mm,
so that was what I did with my 3-year-old. I started seeing him from a place of a different perspective. I
mm,
talked to him I talk to him with minding my emotional temperature,
mm,
because he's a sanguine. He's this social. So when you yell, all of those things. So when I started looking at, there is a way to connect to this child, and
mm,
with the connection too in the yard, I realized the connection between I and my son, even when we go out, is amazing now. When you actually talk to him, there is a way, and then he listens to you. There is nothing like he's throwing tantrum. The 3-year-old is all over. There is a way. There is a way to get to him. So don't give up on that child. Don't give up on that child.
Awesome. That's a beautiful way to cap it. Do not give up on that child. And yes, you just listened to Olufunke Ashade. Funke, thank you so much for being here this morning. I love you. I honor you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much, ma. I honor you, ma.
I do not take your time for granted. I tell people that the greatest thing you can give me is your time, not your money. I know how to make money, not anything. I know how to find it. Your time is the most precious thing in life. And when you give me, I am actually really grateful. Thank you for sharing without reservation the journey that have bettered today's Funke. Thank you so much. We're going to let you go as we conclude on this session. Yes, you just listened to Olufunke Ashade, and it's been an awesome, awesome journey, right? And it's been so, so amazing. Trust me, you can still be this person. It is not really about whether, oh, I don't know, it's not the same, da, da, da. It's the same thing. You need to choose today to be wise. That's your choice. And if you choose to be wise, it changes everything. Funke was talking about books. She even mentioned books that were not part of the curriculum. If you listen to me, you will read, you will hear the things that are not being said. And most times they are the most important part of your journey. Right? We're having the 6-in-1 book sales on Monday. Monday the 6th. Trust me, just a 2-hour flash sale. If you miss that 2-hour flash sale, you are not going to get these books at 39,500 again. You will get them at 60,000. But believe you me, all of them are, some of them are even, a little bit, they are all the sizes. All of them are written in, I don't know how to explain the books of this year, but trust me, they will change your life. So, Parenting Reset is a book that I have been, brooding in my head for so long. And, I said yesterday that I was with, the wife of some generals yesterday, being led by the wife of the chief of the defense staff. We were hosted in her home. And parenting research was the book I wanted to give all of them. Honestly, parenting research, that book, that no matter where you are on your journey, it resets you. And that's the first read in the inner circle in January. You don't want to miss this read. And we're having raising the social genus, with the things that have happened over the years. So recently, I was talking, to someone, and person was like, person is a professor, raising the social genus. Person is a professor, and the person was like, oh, they do not know what it is that they needed to do about something, right? Pressure of economics and all of that. You see the struggle, you see all of that. And I have come to a place where that I know that certificates do not open all doors. That's the truth. Certificates do not open. It doesn't. Sometimes it can even open a door and does not have the ability to keep you in a room. And that's one aspect of our lives, or our children's lives, that is missing. And this book, like I said, is going to be a turnaround for a lot of parents. And then, of course, I have something that I love the most, parenting lessons from the Bible. One of the things that I have done over the years is to actually understand that I'm gifted with word of knowledge. I am. And reading the Bible for me and spinning up, I see people writing stories from the Bible, parenting, they talk about Eli, they talk about, you're not going to see Eli in this book. Nah. You're not going to see the common stories, You're going to see the deep-seated stories nobody ever told you. And the lessons nobody ever opened your eyes to. Whether you're a Christian or you're not, it actually doesn't change anything. It can transform your life. They are parenting lessons. They're just that it's being lifted from the stories that have been told in the Bible. And of course, just like, I love to say it, sex educate your child like a pro, never goes out of fashion. Every year, it is a different curriculum in it. So even if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, it's a series. We're writing the series all through, all right, to volume 10. This is volume 5. Okay, I got the inspiration to write Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, volume 1 to 10. This is volume 5. So yes, we have 5 more volumes to go, and all of them are different things in it. And then the Camp Parents Framework. The Camp Parents Framework is an elevation of from yelling to calm. It's a whole framework that's going to change the way that you look at calmness, parenting, and all of that. All right? And of course, I think this might be my best in the raising series. So a new year that said to me, Coach, please, I want you to add in the raising series, raising the only son, the only child. Raising the only child. I said I have in the raising series, raising the first child, raising the only child. So don't worry. She was like, ah. I said, yes, I am right in the spirit, and you are. So the raising series is increasing. We have 2 in this series. Raising a lifelong learner. It's not the one that comes first in class, but the one who will learn for life. The one who will not be triggered when they say you need to buy books. Because some of you get triggered when you hear that you need to buy books. You just, must we buy book? Hey, they want to, how do you even think that they want to collect your money when you're buying books? As in, I can't relate. I cannot relate. Like, why? How? The book that will transform you, the book is for you, right? It's actually first for you. This is where we call it a day, because we need to go set the cathedral. But don't forget that on the 11th of October, we'll be live in Ilori. You don't want to miss it. If you are in Ilori or anywhere around Ilori, be there, because we are going to blow up everywhere on that Saturday. And of course, after Ilori, we move to United Kingdom, Birmingham. We can't wait to be in Birmingham. The Gov, Coach Ebuka, I can see that this flyer is still having team. It's still having just Gov and I. Coach Ebuka and Tima. I hope that this is changed before the next session. Thank you. And of course, if you have not booked to join the yard, please do that now. Do that now, because this whole offer is going off the table. I don't want you to rush kitty everywhere. By November now, everybody is literally breathing down our nose. So over the weekend, we had over how many, we have almost almost 500, onboarding and all of that. Well, hey, they've not answered me. Hey, we had about 1,000. They've not answered me. Hey, can we stop the kitty, please? Let us just register and be fitted so that we can get ready. Your journals for inner circle, upcoming inner circle. The journal is 3 years old, so the journal is being redone. We're going to share journals for you to print if you want, or you can buy from the people that have the right to actually print our journals. You can print on your own. All right, but we're going to announce all of that in the yard and in all of those pieces. Thank you again for joining me today, and it's been an honor. Yarders, are you ready? I hope you guys are ready for today. We're wearing green for Nigeria. We're going to be calm, very calm. But let's see. We'll see in the yard. So let's go there. Everybody, see you right in the yard.
Common phrases in the inner circle. Let's go.
You're coming for an inner circle webinar and you're not with your yellow blanket with red trimmings. Is that even a joke?
Oh, I'm running and I'm not looking back because 10,000 lions are chasing me. I have watched all the webinars, but today, Coach came with a bazooka.
Even with my humility agbada, I still collected.
If you're not in the ark, you better enter now because flood na bia o.
In the inner circle, we dey walk and they show.
CIP police is coming for you. There is no need harness here.
You definitely cannot relate because you are not in the yard.
If you are not in the yard,
why not?